What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Football podcast. This is episode 60. We made it all the way to the big 6-0. We had a great show on deck for you. We're going to talk about some college football. We had a rivalry week this past weekend. Really fun games. And obviously, you already know ballers, fallers, and dogs of the week. You're not going to want to miss it. Let me hit the intro and let's go right into episode 60. Let's get right into it without further ado. Before we hop into the episode, though, quick announcement. TFP Mock Draft 1.0 is coming soon. I don't know when, but at some point, we will have a mock draft out. Mock drafts last year did pretty well. Actually, I believe Mock Draft 1.0 is the most successful video that I've had on the channel. So we're going to have one before the actual draft season comes about. Got to do some scouting. I already know there's a lot of really good prospects in there. A lot of Ohio State prospects are looking great this year. Downs, Reese, Styles, Tate, just to name a few. There's a lot of good players on that team. So if you have like a top 5 pick, so this is like your Titan fans, your Giants fans, you got your Saints fans, your Jets fans, even the Rams, maybe. I mean, some people might not know the Rams have the Falcons' first-round pick because the Falcons traded back up into the first round for James Pierce last year. Their first rounder is going to the Rams right now, and the Rams are the best team in the league. So they might have a chance at the top 5 depending on how the season ends for Atlanta. Washington as well, if you're a Commander fan. This pertains to you. Ruben Bain is also someone who's being talked about a lot. He's an edge rusher from Miami. So he will definitely be dropped in here. I got to do some scouting first. I want to get the best video out as I possibly can. But I see a lot of scouters I follow are posting mock drafts. So I figured, you know what? Let's get the TFP 1.0 out sometime soon. So be on the lookout for that. Keep your eyes peeled. Speaking of college football, literally right before I recorded this, I got an update from ESPN and said, "Oh, new CFP rankings are out." And I was like, "You know what? I didn't start recording yet." I was like, "You know what? I was going to do ballers and followers, let's talk about some college football. It's been a while. So why don't we talk about the new CFP rankings that just came in? They were revealed on ESPN. When I'm recording this, they were revealed like a half an hour ago, maybe, if that. And there's definitely a lot of interesting scenarios in here. So not a lot of movement in the top 10. I mean, there's a couple, like one up, that's it. Your top 5 is from 5 to 1 is Oregon, Texas Tech. They've been outstanding this year, Texas Tech. Georgia, number 3, and then your 2 and 1 are fighting for the Big Ten championship. That's Indiana, and that's Ohio State. Both teams are undefeated, and they're the only undefeated teams in the top 25 right now. The top 10 is rounded out by Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin just went to LSU. That's going to be very interesting. Ole Miss moved up a spot to number 6. They're pretty much locked in now because they're not in the SEC championship. So Ole Miss locked into a playoff spot. Texas A&M, after losing to Texas, they are now down to number 7. They're number 3 going into rivalry weekend. Oklahoma is number 8. Alabama is number 9. They moved up 1 spot after beating Auburn. Notre Dame is number 10. They are right on the bubble, and we'll talk about why in a little bit. BYU, Miami, Texas are the 3 teams right after that. Vandy is also there at number 14. Everyone else is pretty much not going to be in it unless we have some championship weekend chaos. Now, look, I mean, I forgot they made a new bracket in the college football playoff. The way they structured is way different, and I like it. I like the way it's structured now. Last year, it was your conference champions had the top seeds, and that led. I mean, Arizona State was really good last year. I mean, when we saw that with Scat, with Levitt, they were really good last year. All right, we all know that. I'm blanking on who the number 3 team was. It was the I'm totally blanking on who it was, but obviously you had Georgia, they won the SEC. Oregon won the Big Ten. I'm totally blanking who the AC on who the was it BYU? Were they in the championship? I know SMU was in there. There were a lot of really weird teams that realistically probably should not have been in it, if we're being honest. All right. We all kind of know that. There were teams that should not have been in there, and that set up really boring matchups. I mean, SMU went in to play Penn State, and they got absolutely destroyed. Like Indiana, they weren't good last year, but Indiana went in and they played uh, Notre Dame last year, and they got the final score doesn't tell you how bad that game was. It was a really ugly, ugly game. Boise State was the other team because they won the Mountain West. Boise State was a 3 seed. Clemson won the ACC last year. I forgot about that. That was a really interesting year. But now they're not doing that anymore. So let's talk about it. Here is what the bracket looks like right now. I'll talk to you guys about it. Your first 4 seeds all have byes. That's Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Georgia at 3, and Texas Tech at 4. Now, Texas Tech is playing for the Big 12 championship, so if they lose to BYU, they are most likely not going to be in that 4 spot anymore. I would imagine that Oregon would jump up. In my opinion, BYU is not going to jump from 11 to number 4. It's just not going to happen. Not at this stage in the year. Those jumps don't happen that much anymore. You know who's good. You know if it was a lucky win. That's the kind of way it goes now at this point. Oregon is going to be playing the lowest ranked conference champion. Who that's going to be, we'll talk about in a little bit. Oklahoma will host Alabama. That's an 8-9 matchup. Oklahoma being the 8, Bama being the 9. Ole Miss will host the higher ranked conference champion, that to be determined. That's a 6-11 matchup. And then in the 7-10, you have A&M going up hosting Notre Dame in a game where they think the two teams played 2 years ago because Shane Gillis was on College Game Day, if I remember that right. So let's talk about those those other conference champions. Really interesting stuff here. There's a lot of bracket madness. So if you like college football chaos, there's a lot of things you can root for this weekend. And it starts in the ACC. In that championship, I believe it's Virginia and Duke. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that's what the championship round is. It is Virginia and Duke. Now, if Duke wins that game, that opens the floodgates for so many things that we don't even know about. They were talking about the Mountain West in there. The team that can only benefit from this weekend is number 25, ranked James Madison. They have a very odd way to get in, but it looks like if if Duke beats BYU, keep in mind they're 7-5. They're not going to be ranked after this. That I have a really hard time thinking that an 8-5 team is going to be ranked. Maybe over Iowa. So maybe they might get in. Iowa's ranked number 23. Iowa was not that good of a team this year, in my opinion. So that's just not going to happen. However, if Duke wins, you might not have JMU get in because in the American Conference, you have North Texas, ranked number 24, going up against Tulane, number 20. The winner of that game may very well get in. Now, that's going to be really funky how that's going to work out, because if Virginia wins their game, you know what? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think that the winner of that game is going to be in Tulane and North Texas. Whoever wins that game is going to make the college football playoff. The only way, I don't know if JMU has a realistic path. I don't believe they're playing this weekend. So they're going to be stuck at 11-1 with their only loss coming to Louisville. A lot of chaos could happen this week, and it really kind of depends on how things work out. Again, The top 5 teams are not going to change even if BYU beats Texas Tech. I don't see Tech falling further than like 7 or 8 if we're being real. So, we'll see how that works out. We may very well have, if Tech loses this weekend, we're definitely, in my opinion, going to have 3 Big Ten teams in the top 4, which is crazy considering that last year they were just talking about, oh, the Big Ten needs like 2 or 3 automatic bids. And they're probably going to get, actually, no, they're locked in to get one. Because right now, number 1, number 2, and number 5 are all from the Big Ten. And the winner, if Indiana beats Ohio State, I think Ohio State drops to 2. Those are the best 2 teams. I have a hard time visualizing Indiana beating Ohio State. I just don't see it happening. It could happen. They have a very good team. I just don't think so. But we got a lot of stuff to talk. Like there's a lot of discussion. I mean, I'm just like getting through the tip of the iceberg here, and I talked about this for already a good chunk of the video. I encourage you, after you're done watching this video, look up like how can each team get in. It's so interesting to kind of look at that stuff. That's it for college football. Let's talk about some ballers of week 13. Thanksgiving games. We had 3 pretty good games, actually. I mean, not the late game. The late game was terrible, but Packers and Lions was a pretty good game. Cowboys and Chiefs was fun. That was a really fun game. And then Ravens and Bengals was just terrible. Black Friday game was also a snoozer, but proves a lot about some teams. Let's talk about some ballers really quick. Dem boys, they're coming. I accidentally did a Charles Barkley quote. Them young boys, they're coming. Dallas is the most mediocre team of all time. But sometimes being mediocre is good. I'm struggling where to put them. Like, I have like a mental ranking of every team, and I have like it's like 31 teams, and then Dallas is like off to the side. Like, I just don't know where to put them. I know this. Any Dak disrespect I had, I threw it out. He's a player, all right? He can play really well. George Pickens, I mean, you're talking about dog of the week. He is a dog. He's insane. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty decent game. That defense, without Micah Parsons, they're still fun to watch. DeMarvion Overshown is a really good football player, too. Let me just throw that out there. Cowboy fans, you should be lucky. You should like count your blessings every day for having Overshown on your team. He is outstanding. That kid can play. I'm hoping he can stay healthy. And like the Cowboys just beat the Giants is what they do. Well, I always love watching Overshown. That dude is so fast. He's so athletic. For a linebacker, it's insane. Like edge rusher, whatever you want to put him at, he can play. He's like Isaiah Simmons, but like actually works. No disrespect to Isaiah Simmons. I like him too. Dallas played a really good game this weekend against a Chiefs team that wins. I don't want to say that they're good because they're not good, but they win games. They are accustomed to winning games. It's what they do. And Dallas beat them in a game where I was like, yeah, no way. I have the Chiefs winning this one. They won 31-28. I mean, like for what? Like, let's just like think about this for a second. I mean, it's not like Mahomes played bad either. I mean, he played pretty well. 23 of 34, 261. He had 4 touchdowns to 0 picks. But Dak just was like outside of that first drive pick that was really ugly. He was pretty good the rest of the way. 27 to 39, 320 through the air, two passing touchdowns, passer rating of 100. His top 2 receivers, Lamb and Pickens, combined for 13 catches for actually exactly 200 yards, which is crazy. I mean, that's really, really impressive stuff here. Just the stuff we're seeing from this team, and they're so confusing because they'll get blown out in the most humiliating way, and then they'll come out and they'll win a game like this. Are they winners? I don't know. I know they're really mediocre, but here's the deal. Philly is only 2 games ahead of them. So if Philly doesn't win, like Philly needs to win badly. They really, really, really need to win. Dallas right now can finish 10-6-1 if they win out. They do play the Giants in there, so that's a guaranteed win. Philly, they are skidding really hard right now. That offensive coordinator is not good at his job. It's almost a carbon copy of 2023 when they had a horrible OC who could not call plays. Like you lost your coach, you lost your original OC. You had to hire someone new, and he was terrible. So you had to replace him. Then he gets hired, and you have to replace him again. And the same guy stinks. It's the same cycle. The Eagles look deflated. The Cowboys don't. They look very energized. And down the stretch, that's what matters. It's not about your record means nothing in the playoffs. It matters, can you win important games? Dallas has proven, at least on Thanksgiving, they can, kind of. That's what I'm going to say about that. Carolina, kudos to every single person on that team, every single coach, if you're getting paid and you are a working staff member on the Carolina Panthers, kudos to you. You just beat the best team in the NFL. Carolina is the best team in the NFC South. And I mean that. Their quarterback is not the best. Baker's way better than Bryce. But Bryce, he's a player, man. Just like Dak. And we'll talk about him in just a little bit. I mean, you probably can already imagine what I'm getting to. Dogs of the Week is later in the show. But Bryce is a stud, man. That dude can. I want to see more consistency from him because there's no way you beat the Rams and you lost to the Saints on the same turf as well. Like you played at home and you lost to the Saints, but you beat the Rams. It makes no sense to me. That defense, though, 2 picks on Stafford plus the late forced fumble. This is a really solid team. Not good, they're solid. And honestly, at some point down the stretch, you'd rather be a solid team. If they do come back out and win the division, I don't see them beating whoever they'll play. I would assume probably Green Bay at this point if the Bears continue to play the way they have. So you're not beating Green Bay, even though they did earlier in the year. So I can't even. I mean, maybe they will. Come to think of it, maybe they will. I don't know in the playoffs if that'll happen or not, but maybe you play San Fran. I don't. You just got destroyed by them. You know, it's weird, but they played a really good game. All right, they did everything well, and you beat. I would say winning a game like this by 3 points tells me more about this team compared to a blowout win over the Rams. If they won 31-10, I would say, okay, bad week for the Rams. But it wasn't a bad week. Adams had a good game. Nakua had an unbelievable catch. And despite that, the Panthers still won. So that tells me that this is a team that should be treated seriously, not like, oh, yeah, it's the Panthers. Okay, whatever. You don't know what team you're going to get every week. Prepare like you're getting the team that we just saw. Prepare like you're going to see the team that played the Packers a couple weeks ago. Those are the Carolina Panthers. They are not a Super Bowl contender by any means, but they're a team that should be reckoned with, if you want to say that. They're interesting. They're very interesting, but they've won games. Let's talk about Bears. I said last week, I was like, you know what? This is going to really be like the game for the Bears. If you can come out in Lincoln Financial on Black Friday when a bunch of people are skipping shopping to come and see their Eagles in a really, really tough environment, and you can win, I will think differently about your team. I'm now sitting here on Tuesday. We're uploading this on Wednesday. I'm sitting here on Tuesday saying that Bears are the number one seed. They're the number one seed in the conference. They are one of the best teams. It doesn't matter how you slice it in the league. Excuse me. And they are winners, period. Not winners, dot, question mark. They are winners, period. They win games. Whether that's Ben Johnson, whether that's Caleb Williams, whether that's that run game. Kyle Monangai is just a baller. I love Kyle Monangai. I think I want to pick him up in fantasy. I wasn't able to. Monangai is great. He truly is. I mean, that dude can run. Swift, too. They got a really solid offense. That defense, they have people that they could add, definitely. That's every team, though. Montez Sweat, I don't think he's enough on the defensive line. You need someone else there. Their linebacker corps has been playing very well. And look, they get takeaways in the secondary. Nashawn Wright has been spectacular this year. Kevin Byard has been very good. He had a pick on Friday. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, when they're fully healthy, this is a great secondary, actually. They've been really, really good. I mean, outside of A.J. Brown having an outstanding week, the Eagles didn't really have anything going, and they have not gotten Saquon going yet this year, which I'm concerned about. He has been very poor this year. I'm very concerned about that. I mean, like, why? Get him going. I don't know why he hasn't been. I mean, outside of the game against the Giants, he hasn't been very good this year, Saquon. But I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out something that I don't like about Chicago, and I can't. I just don't have it in me. They win games. It doesn't matter how bad the Eagles are. Lincoln Financial is going to be packed with Eagle fans, and they're going to be booing you. And once I kind of figured out that it was 10-0 and the Eagles were getting booed, or 10-3 at halftime, they're getting booed off the field, I'm thinking, like, man, like, Chicago's serious. If they're getting their fans to boo if they're getting Philly fans to boo the Eagles only down 7 at the half, that shows how dominant you are. And they can't. I mean, 24-15. It was not that close. It was 24-9 for the majority of the fourth quarter. The Bears, they won a game. It's what they do. I guess. I guess it's what they do. Let's talk about some fallers. We have two Thanksgiving fallers. The Lions. I mean, this is not the same Lions team. We all know that. They should have lost to the Giants. They didn't, because the Giants lost that game more than the Lions won it. And we all know that. Okay, that's not like a, oh, well, they came back and you beat the Giants, who are now 2-11. They're like the worst team in football. And I'm still wearing their hat because go team. But I mean, like, are we seeing like Jared Goff suck again? And I hate saying that because his numbers are really solid. I mean, Goff, 20 for 26, 256, 2 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating of 132.85. So what's wrong? Like, what was the issue? I mean, Gibbs had 20 carries. He only had 68 yards on the ground. Not a very long run of 18. Not a great game for him. Outside of JMO, though, they didn't really have anything. That Kennedy guy played a pretty good game. He had 4 catches, really pretty reliable when they needed him. But I mean, if you take JMO away, you have 13 completions for 110 yards, and JMO had 87 yards after the catch. So that's obviously an issue. Defensively, they look a little disorganized. It's really hard to explain why the Lions don't move me this year. Losing, not even Ben Johnson, because their offense is not the problem. I mean, when you inherit those weapons, it can't be a problem. Okay. And speaking of weapons, you lost to St. Brown for 1 to 2 weeks, possibly more. Defensively, though, because here's the thing. Aaron Glenn was so good at getting the most out of his guys. It's the truth. Doesn't matter how you slice it. He's good at getting the most out of his guys. Jets fans are going to watch this and say, well, I don't know what you're seeing in New York, but generally, I get that. But generally, as a defensive coordinator, he has a good concept of how to get the most out of his players. And that's the truth. We saw that in Detroit. The group that they had was not good, but they won games. Was it their offense? Sure, but their defense constantly gave the ball to their offense. And this is a team outside of, in my opinion, like 3 or 4 players, it's pretty mid. Outside of, in my opinion, and I'm gonna miss one, Branch, Campbell, Hutchinson, and McNeil, it's a pretty below average group. Amik Robertson is okay. Rocky Ya-Sin, actually, he's been decent. He's come out of nowhere. Rocky Ya-Sin, he's been pretty good. I'm a big Alex Anzalone guy. He plays with a lot of pride, and I love that. But like, if you can contain Hutchinson and you can identify where Brian Branch is on the field, it's not like you're shivering when you're playing this defense. You're like, okay, I can pick them apart. The Giants did it. I mean, I don't want to use them as an example, but they did. I feel like the Lions just kind of are not scary anymore. And I'm not saying that defensively, I mean, with Glenn, you didn't know what was coming. Maybe 8 guys were coming. They were only dropping 3. Like, you had no idea. I don't feel that way about them anymore. And no disrespect to Calvin Shepard. I think he's a good coordinator. I'm just like, I want more. Speaking of wanting more, Baltimore, 5 turnovers. That's horrible. All right. You played a Bengals defense that is the worst in the league, or one of the worst in the league. I know Pittsburgh is up there, which really makes my mind, which kind of blows my mind how bad their passing defense is. And the Giants' defense is really poor too. Same with Tennessee. But you go up against a horrible defense and you turn the ball over 5 times. That's horrible. If you had 4 fumbles, that's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Just really lackluster performance. And this was a team that I'm like, they're going to win the AFC North. You sure? I don't know about that. I mean, maybe it's one game and you throw it away, but it's not like you're playing a difficult team. You're playing a team that stinks. And I get they got Burrow back, but he wasn't exceptional to say. He was like 50% completion percentage. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. And after this, you have the Steelers, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Packers, and the Steelers. That Patriot team is going to be very interesting. I'm very interested to see how the Patriots play in the next. They have their bye, and then they have 2 tough games. I'm interested to see how they play against them. I mean, I don't know. They're just kind of weird. I need to see more consistency, and they're healthier now than they were early in the season. Earlier, I was talking about like, oh, what's wrong with them? I knew they had so many injuries. Like Roquan was hurt. I think Kyle Hamilton got hurt at that point. Marlon Humphrey was hurt. Matabuke is out for the year, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they are just destroyed with injuries. So I got that early in the year. But now they're healthy, and they still stink. Or they can stink, rather. I need to see more out of this team. All right. And they're lucky Pittsburgh lost, but they got to win. They need to win. I need to see more winningness out of them, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of vague, but like, I need to see them have more like a winning mentality. They don't have that right now. Speaking of winning mentality, people are talking about like, oh, I saw someone ask like, oh, who's the biggest fraud in the NFL? And someone said the Colts. And I'm like, do I agree with that? And my answer is no. I don't think they're the biggest fraud in the NFL right now. They're one of them. This is a Colts team that really excited me. But if Jonathan Taylor does not have a good game, the team does not have a good game. And that's what it's come down to. Don't get me wrong. The Texans are a very exciting team. They have the best defense in the NFL by a mile. No one is even close to them. They have done an outstanding job. They got healthy. CJ Stroud is playing. Nico Collins had a vintage Nico Collins game. You know, the run game was okay. Houston's. It's just like, I don't know. I'm struggling to find a word to describe Indy. Not lackluster, because you're 8-4. You're unlackluster, if that's not even a word. But you're not that. You're not lackluster. Maybe like underachieving after they were overachieving, maybe, if that's what I'm thinking about. Because I think we're just looking at a 9-8 team that had a really good start. And that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Having those starts make you who you are. But the big thing is Jones has a fractured fibula and he's playing, which is the stupidest thing ever. That is a really bad decision for him after having an ACL. He's going to have to get surgery at the end of the year, I would assume. If Daniel Jones is unable to run, he loses, I would say, like 50% of his confidence. There's two ways to get Jones like moving. One is an early deep ball. If he could hit that early, he's locked in for the game. The second is getting him moving on the ground. Because think of it this way: if you're a quarterback and you have a read option and you're reading the edge rusher or the corner who's going to be maybe tackling you, if they come in on the inside and you're like, oh, I can identify that quickly, and you take it to the outside and you get like 5 to 10 yards. Oh, okay. Well, if I can see that, then I can easily pick up on something when I'm throwing the football. That makes more sense. He's unable to do, I would say, either of those things right now. I know Houston's got a great defense. I said that before, but it's just like they need to have a very secure backup option. I don't think they have one right now. I mean, figure out who's open for business. And that's what it's come down to. Without Jones playing at the level he was, this is not a good football team. They're an okay football team. And that's what we saw on Sunday. Losing 20-16 makes you an okay football team. They're starting to slow down a little bit. And I mean, me personally, my fantasy matchup, I need Taylor to play better. I hate to be that way, but it's the truth. If they can get Taylor going, they have to rely on Jones, and he has got a fractured fibula, and that's just not a good combination at all. Period. So we'll see how that kind of works out down the stretch for Indy. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Jacksonville is also 8-4, surprisingly. I mean, I thought they were like, well, I mean, we can just look at the AFC South right now. Yeah, Jacksonville is actually the first in the league. Not in the league. That's not true. They are first in their division right now at 8-4. Indy is also 8-4. Houston 7-5. That's a really tight race. If you're going to look at something, you want to look at a tight race, look no further than the AFC South. You have three really good teams there, or really good records there, I should say. I don't want to contradict what I just said about the Colts. That's how we're going to wrap up the analysis part of the show, if you want to call it that. Now it's time to move on to the signature segment of the Talkin Football podcast. It is now time for Dogs of the Week for Week 13. It is now time for Dogs of the Week. Let's get right into it. Why not waste any time? That was poor. My apologies. I love doing these. I love when I can just talk broadly about a position that was just, or a group of guys that were just fantastic. It doesn't even pain me to wear this hat and talk about this because the Patriots special teams on Monday night were absolutely unbelievable. And they missed a field goal. That's big time. They missed a field goal and they're still a dog of the week. Who specifically? Let's talk about it. First off, you open up the game with a 40-yard return, just like that. That isn't 40-yard returns aren't like, oh, okay, whatever. That doesn't really mean anything anymore since you're kicking the ball to the 10-yard line almost every time, which is really stupid. I don't know what the issue was with the original kick return kickoff. It kind of is what it is. I don't know. But their special teams were just on another level. The 40-yard kick return to start, You also had the 93-yard punt, or maybe 94-yard punt return touchdown by Marcus Jones. That dude can absolutely fly. It is crazy what he can do. That dude soars, man. I'm telling you, he can move. He can move Marcus Jones. He is, I think, the only player in the NFL to have an offensive, defensive, and special teams touchdown in since like it's been a while. I don't know what the year was, but they were showing that stat, and I was like, wow, that's crazy that he has that much there. Really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. And it's funny because I'm looking at this now, and I'm like, the punter punted twice. His average punt, Behringer, he punted twice. He had 27 yards as his average. Borregales went 7 for 8. He missed one field goal. He went 4 for 5. Their average kick return was 26.33, which isn't spectacular. But Marcus Jones, man, I mean, an average of 41.33, obviously the 94-yard touchdown, but that was good. Plus, the Giants' kick return had nothing going. Absolutely nothing going. They had zero. They got the fumble return, not the fumble return, they got the fumble recovery on a helmet-to-helmet call that should have been called. His helmet was down, and I feel like you should be able to review that. We can have that discussion at another time, though. I'm just saying, in college football, because we were talking about that earlier in the episode, if your helmet is down or the crown of your helmet is down and you hit someone, they can review that for targeting, which I don't think is the right word for it, but they say targeting. In my opinion, I forgot who it was. His helmet was it Caden Ellis? I feel like there were two plays that he made. I'm pretty sure it was Ellis. He had his helmet, his face was all the way down, 100%, and he just went right into Gunnar Olszewski. Ball came out. They did get the recovery, so I'll give them the credit there, but I think the NFL should tweak that somehow. And we can have that discussion another time. We have one more overall position from the Buffalo Bills. I wanted to put them in a baller spot, but I was like, you know what? I got to give credit to the other teams here. But Buffalo, one of my biggest concerns about them was if your pass game is not going, which it was not in this game at all. Josh Allen had 123 passing yards. So, like, not good. I was like, can they pound the rock and win a game? Well, I now have the answer to that. The Bills, 51 carries for 249 yards and only one touchdown on the ground. 4.88 yards per carry. That is nuts, man. Keep in mind, their longest run was 31 yards by James Cook. That's crazy. That is crazy. I was gonna make James Cook the dog of the week, but I was like, I can't do that. I mean, Ray Davis was fantastic. 9 carries for 62 yards, 6.89 yards a carry, 15 as his longest. Just crazy stuff from the Bills running game against a front that is really good. Watt, Hayward, Highsmith. They have Herbig is there as well. He's really solid. This is a good front. And the Bills pounded the rock. That was my biggest concern was like, can they win a game where both sides are just running the ball? Check. Absolutely. Bills run game. Easy money. Dog of the week. I talked about him earlier in the episode. He was unbelievable this weekend against the Rams. Bryce Young was easily a dog of the week. I was looking at his stats, and I'm like, the first part of it doesn't wow you, but you got to look at the deeper stuff. 15 for Bryce Young was 15 of 20 for 206 yards. That doesn't make me go, oh wow, that's crazy. Not at all. But 75% completion percentage, 10 yards per throw, per completion rather, 3 touchdowns to 0 picks, plus 1 unbelievable deep ball to T-Mac. It was beautiful. Tedero McMillan made a beautiful catch there. As well as a 147.08 passer rating. Crazy stuff from Bryce Young. His leading receiver was 74 yards. That was Jalen Coker. He spread the ball out to 8 different guys on 15 receptions. That's really impressive. That is really, really impressive stuff from Bryce Young. I would like to see more consistency out of him because when he's on, the team wins. And when he's not, they lose. And that is a big concern when you're playing as much as you are, or when you're like under the spotlight as much as you are, you play. That doesn't make sense. When you're playing under the spotlight as much as this team has this season, you need to do more, or you need to be more consistent. I have not seen that from Bryce. I like what I've seen. He has definitely matured a lot. Like when I'm looking at young quarterbacks, I'm like maturity level. How mature are you? Are you mature? Are you not mature? A good example. CJ Stroud is a very, very, very mature quarterback. Drake May is a very, very mature quarterback. Those guys are easily mature. I mean, I don't know about Drake. Maybe last year he was good last year, but I don't know how mature he was to say. Same thing with CJ Stroud. JJ McCarthy is not mature. He is still a very young quarterback who needs lots of polish. He is someone who makes the silly mistakes that you probably shouldn't make in the NFL. He is even with a really great, amazing supporting cast with Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, Hawkinson, Jones, Mason, a good offensive line when healthy, KOC. They don't do much offensively, and it's really interesting. Bryce Young, to that point, has shown sometimes where he's like JJ McCarthy. He's also shown signs where he's like Drake May, and this week we saw Drake May's side of Bryce Young. He needs to do that more. If he can, we got a really good team on our hands in Carolina. It's time for the top dog of Week 13. I'll be honest, after the first half of this game, it was the first game this week. I said, yes, I already have my top dog. Someone who I love. I'm a big fan of slot receivers. I love slot receivers, and he should have made my post on Thanksgiving. I posted this year. I'm thankful for, and I posted a bunch of slot receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson. That's checks out. Calvin Austin. I love me some Calvin Austin. Khalil Shakir, Kavontae Turpin, just to name a few. This guy should have been on there. Talking about Dontavian Wicks. He is your top dog for Week 13. Dontavian Wicks had 6 catches for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. He also added 1 rush for 6 yards. We got to include that in there. So 100 yards on the day for Dontavian Wicks on 7 touches. I mean, this is what Green Bay does. This is what the Packers do. All right. They come out here with the most mediocre receiving core you've ever seen in your entire life. Wicks, Watson, Golden, all those guys out here, DAWGS. And they're like so mediocre that you're like, you know what? As long as we have a decent enough cornerback group, which the Lions do have. Yes, Rocky Ya-Sin is solid. Amik Robertson's pretty good. He's okay, actually. Guys who can cover the Packers receivers. You're like, yeah, we're fine. No, you're not. Dontavian Wicks was spectacular this weekend. Really, really great route running from him. He had a really nice end zone catch. 2, obviously, had 2 touchdowns, but there was one that was really nice where he got 1 foot down and he got the other one down. Like picture perfect stuff from really good ball from Jordan Love as well. Nonetheless, Dontavian Wicks is your top dog of Week 13. Thank you all for watching episode 60 of the Talkin Football podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to comment your take. I'll be sure to get back to you if you're a Giants fan. I know how you feel. If you're a Titans fan, Saints fan, whatever, you want to talk to me about maybe a prospect that you like, let me know. I will be sure to get back to you. All you got to do is comment. And also, while you're down there, like and subscribe. It should take you like 5 seconds to do those things. And it helps me out. And it could help you out in the feed. Because look, everyone wants to see some more of the Talkin Football podcast. Am I right? All right. We'll see you guys next week. This is Talkin Football, and that's what I got to say about that.